in response to the president about home issues, bread and butter issues, income.
And we'll leave the rest of this discussion now. You can watch it online, cspan.org. Going to take you live to the floor of the House, gaveling and working on 3 bills on the calendar today, and any votes requested will be held at 6:30.
27th, 2014. I hereby appoint the Honorable Steve Womack to act as Speaker pro tempore on this day. Signed, John A. Boehner, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Pursuant to the order of the House of January 7, 2014, the Chair will now recognize members from lists submitted by the majority and minority leaders for morning hour debate. The Chair will alternate recognition between the parties, with each party limited to 1 hour, and each member other than the majority and minority leaders and the minority whip limited to 5 minutes. But in no event shall debate continue beyond 1:50 a.m. The Chair recognizes the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Thompson, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today I rise to acknowledge the 100th anniversary of Boy Scout Troop 31, which is located in State College, Pennsylvania, Juniata Valley Council, Center County, proudly within the Pennsylvania 5th Congressional District. With Troop 31 scheduled to celebrate this milestone on Scout Sunday this coming February 2nd, I want to offer my praise to the generations of young men who have given their all through service to others. Chartered by St. Paul's United Methodist Church, Boy Scout Troop 31 should take this time to look back on its many accomplishments. This unit has awarded 170 Eagle Scout recognitions since it was founded, which is no surprise considering that in just the last 5 years, Troop 31 has racked up over 40,000 community service hours giving back to the local community. As the former president of the Juniata Valley Boy Scout Council and a longtime Scoutmaster of a Boy Scout troop in the same county, it has been an honor for me to observe the success of State College Troop 31. The adult leadership of Troop 31, including Scoutmasters, Assistant Scoutmasters, Troop Committee members, Merit Badge counselors, and parents, are to be congratulated for 100 years of molding boys into men through the principles and the values of Scouting. The countless boys that have hiked the Scouting trail as members of Troop 31 have gone on to become productive members of their communities, leaders in business, and outstanding citizens. This Scouting unit has exemplified the vision of Scouting founder Lord Robert Baden-Powell when he stated, "It is the spirit within, not the veneer without, that makes a man." Mr. Speaker, Boy Scout Troop 31 deserves our praise and thanks for their service and sacrifice. Congratulations on this historic milestone. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back his time. The Chair recognizes the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Wolf, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last week, the Drudge Report featured an article with a striking headline, quote, "The world's most ancient Christian communities are being destroyed and no one cares." This sentiment was expressed in no uncertain terms yesterday in an event in my district at St. John's the Beloved in McLean, Virginia. People from around the greater Washington, D.C. area gathered to hear directly from 5 senior Syrian Christian leaders, part of a delegation from the war-ravaged country, and the first of its kind that I know to visit the U.S. since the hostilities began. These men will speak at the Heritage Foundation at 1 p.m. today and will meet with members of Congress tomorrow. Their story and that of their communities bears telling not only to policymakers, but to the American church at large, for they represent the very cradle of Christendom. They spoke movingly of their identity as Syrian Christians with ancient roots predating the Apostle Paul. Today, these communities face violence, kidnapping, sexual assault, displacement, and more. According to the Barnabas Fund, which is hosting this delegation, an estimated 600,000 Christians in Syria have already fled the country or lost their lives. Of course, general violence plagues Syria, but this ancient Christian community finds itself targeted by Islamist elements in the country, including a significant number of foreign jihadists who have flocked to the battlefield. Several messages emerged at the talk yesterday, but one held particular relevance for the faith community in America. These Syrian Christian leaders made a plea for engagement from the church in the West. Specifically, they sought for American churches to adopt specific Syrian churches, to commit to praying on their behalf and advocating for them when possible. The need is great, but so too is the opportunity. The plight of Christians in Syria, while horrific, is in some respects a similar story. Time and again, Syrian Christians remark that they fear the fate that befell their brethren in Iraq, where hundreds of thousands fled after being targeted by rival Islamist groups. Today, Iraqi's Christian population has fallen from as many as 1.4 million in 2003 to roughly 200,000 today. In fact, throughout the Middle East, Christian communities are increasingly under siege and imperiled. Christianity risks being ripped from the very fabric of the Middle East, when for centuries it has been part of the rich tapestry of that region. Will we permit it to happen on our watch? Will we answer their pleas for help, or will their cries fall on deaf ears? I pray it's not too late.
Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the Chair declares the House in recess until 2 p.m. today.
And morning hour speech is finished. Members will reconvene.